Hi, all my friends, and welcome to my second live stream. For those who are new here, I'm Sonia, and I have a beautiful garden of more than 200 roses where I planted a lot of standard roses or tree roses, how they are called, especially in America. So let me speak today with you about these roses and how they are. And if you have any questions, I would like to speak about them and hope to answer them as well. But before we start, let's have a look on the garden itself and get into mood to speak about these beautiful roses. So let me show you. Garden is simply so beautiful. I really planted a lot of different types of roses. There are small ones and draft and a lot of climbing roses as well. But among a lot of these roses, I like standard is because they create a great mood in the garden. And when you go through the garden, it's not just only that you have a look on the very low level of the garden, but also on the you can actually watch the roses and smell them. They are so fragrant. So hopefully you get into the mood as well. But now let's speak about the tree roses, the standard roses, as I promised. So for me, the tree roses are special ones. And you may not know that actually they do not grow as a tree roses from the beginning. They are grafted on a wild rose that is actually breeded by the rose breeders, especially for this reason. And they pick one of this stem or cane or rose stock, as they call it, and graft 3 to 4 buds on the upper level of this wild rose stalk. So actually the rose, the variety that they put up there is then the rose that you buy, but the stem, the trunk is not the original rose. And there are huge amount of varieties of the rose trees and standard roses in a different levels and high and grows. And actually, a lot of them you can buy in the breeders, depending what you like to. And these roses are great for landscaping. This is something that is especially good if you do have a nice garden and want to grow roses everywhere, but do not have the possibility put there a structure or do not want to put there a structure. So you can choose one of these varieties. And as I've said, there are different high of them, and the highest ones that are usually of 1 meter 40 centimeters high and are called cascading roses or weeping roses. One of them is one of my most favorite varieties. So let me show the variety and speak about it, how it looks like, and why I choose it for the particular place in my garden. So give me a second. Oh, just a moment to have a little bit music in there. Where I had my mouse. So here we go. And some of you who actually watch my videos may just know what kind of rose I have in mind. And this is Guirlande d'Amour. It's such a wonderful rose, and it's originally a rambling rose. And I bought this variety and planted it in the backyard because of this striking white color and kind of feeling that it provides to this area. And it really looks good in this dark, actually, it's north side of my garden, and simply get the feeling that you you are welcomed. And this rose is so good also for all the pollinators. All the bees like the rose, and I like it as well. I do not have it only on this in this form as a standard rose. I have also this rose on two obelisks on the edges of my winter garden, and I simply love it. But you can see here on this picture how this rose provide really a great feeling and balance to this area. But there was actually something in the past that caused me also to put this kind of rose in this area. And some of you even may like and think about that to create a garden that has kind of feng shui energy. And it's something that I was thinking about, but roses and feng shui, it's just like how to combine it. And honestly, it was just looking into the what feng shui says about the harmony in your garden, and for this area, actually, a white color would be the right one to put it in there. And I did it, a part of the fact that I left this rose, and it is really good. So do not know whether this is the energy of feng shui or just only a good coincidence of the dark hedge that is in the background, but it's still one of my favorite standard rose. So let's have a look on the next possible question that you may have, unless you ask me in the comments, about standard roses and how to grow them. We have already seen in the backyard that I put there wonderful standard rose, Guirlande d'Amour. But there is another rose of this high that I have in my garden, and this is Super Excelsa. It's such a beautiful rose. It has really wonderful crimson color bloom that is falling down of the tree, rose tree. And when you come into the garden, it's simply a highlight when it's in full bloom, and everyone just watch it and oh my goodness, it looks good. So this rose is also one of my favorite ones of the standard rose. And let me show you a little bit more how it looks like. No, this was not the right one. So here we go. Super Excelsa. Oh, I love this rose so much. This is actually one of my first roses that I bought. And if you consider buying rose, standard rose that is cascading in this highs, you may actually consider two things. And it was kind of surprise for me at the beginning. I did not know about that. And it is the size of the rose, how big this will be in the future. Because usually when you buy it at the breeder, it's very small and compact. It's just a new rose, And it takes some time for this rose to really grow to this size. But once it is grown, it looks simply great. And it's important to know that because you may plant also underplant these roses with something something different roses or accompanying plants. And this was also for me kind of issue, because I underplanted this rose with another standard rose. I thought, okay, this will be very nice. And it was a smaller variety of the standard rose, and I come to that in a minute. So I underplanted it, and after 2 or 3 years, I realized that it's definitely not the right space for the smaller rose, because it was simply too shady for it. So you may consider this. And another thing that I also realized and kind of confused me at the beginning was that when you go to a breeder, they usually, if these roses are already planted, sell you this rose in a pot. But you should consider that the pot will be when you planted it below the earth. So the height of the rose needs to be considered from the earth to the grafting point, and not including the pot, which was also my mistake. And I did a lot of mistakes before I found out how to do it properly. So this is something that is really good, and what I actually want to share with you, just what I have learned by planting roses. And if you have any question, just feel free to ask me. Does not need to be just about this rose that I've just shown you. So I just spoke about 2 roses, great varieties, both of them pretty high, pretty big. If you consider it's really just maybe 1.5 meter wide for these roses. But there are also roses that are very, very well suitable even for pots, and roses that are much smaller, but create also great feeling in your garden. And this will be the one that I wanted to share with you as well. I touched on that in some of my videos, and it's definitely one of my favorites as a standard as well. And it's the rose that I planted already, not just only as a standard. I've planted it in a pot, and I have it in the garden as a small brush rose. And this is maybe also something that you may not know. So when you buy this rose, it's always good to have a look what rose is grafted and what this rose is in reality when not grafted on the tree. Like when you have a small shrub rose and it's grafted as a tree rose, then it will look like a small shrub rose. If you have a rambler like this Guirlande d'Amour or Super Excelsa, they have this long branches, and they will kind of look as a rambler and will be weeping down, because it's just how this rose is growing without the trunk. So let me show you the small one that I've spoken about, one of my favorite, the little white pet. Just a second. And here we are. So this is my absolute lovely little white pet. And I love this rose because it has such a beautiful color, white color. But if you see the small buds, they are just, before they burst into the flower and into this really nice cup of rose, it has such a pinkish layer in it. And it looks so good. And I underplanted this rose with small white rose, in and white, and lavendel. And you can see exactly here that I did not put the other rose directly next to the little white pet, just because I did not want it to that these two roses somehow compete with each other. I wanted actually that the lavendel that I planted around just only support the color and the feeling in this area, and then around the rose put the other roses, the bean and white. So these were my three favorite standard roses, and they're simply great. I can only recommend each and every one of you, if you can afford it, for your garden, or even for balcony for the smaller varieties. And I did a video this week about the standard roses, and featured all the others as well that are also very nice. So you may have a look on that as well. But when we speak about standard roses, you may have a question how to take care of them, how to actually um, do or grow these roses, because they are somehow special, but also they may be more expensive. Usually, when you buy a standard rose, it's maybe two times more that you have to pay for than a normal rose. But it's also very important to know that it takes a lot of time to grow such a rose. For a breeder, at least 3 years it takes before he can actually start to sell this rose, which is kind of amazing to know about that. And during this time, a lot of these roses, rose trees may just uh, got some issue that they are not saleable, and not all the grafting points would come out, because only the first class of a rose is when there are the three buds and all of them are performing. So you have to care for these roses once you decide to have them. But how to care about it? Well, I would say that first and foremost, as for every rose, you have to prune them. Pruning is important, especially in no, not especially. It's important for all the roses. For standard roses, you have to do it, but it's done in spring when forsythia is blooming. But what is also important during winter, and we have now here in Germany autumn, so you have to look and do it pretty soon once the temperature fall below the 5 degrees of Celsius, and just protect it. For the normal rose, for the small shrub rose, it's not that difficult to protect them. You can protect actually the heart, the grafting points of a rose by putting some earth on it. But for such a standard rose, you have to do more, because actually the earth level, it's the wild rose, and there is nothing to protect actually. So what you have to protect is actually the crown, the grafting points that you have on your rose. And the best way to do it is just to put some fleece around this point, so that once the frost comes, it will not damage or just freeze out. And in the spring, you can then cut everything back pretty strongly. And if you ask how to cut such a rose, the standard rose, there is a trick, and it's quite easy to do so. Let me show you one picture of the Excelsa and how it was actually pruned by myself in the spring. So now, so here we go. And I put this one off. So in the spring, when you have a standard rose, the best way to actually do the pruning is to imagine how this rose would look like if it would be on the ground level without the whole trunk in between. So like, for example, this rose is a super excelsa, it's a rambler, meaning that the rambler have all the branches wide, and you would cut some of them, the older ones, and then all the small old bloom, you would cut away. So exactly like this, you cut a standard rose. And for the small little white pet that I've shown you just a minute ago, just imagine this is a small shrub rose. So just cut it as a shrub. You can cut it pretty deep, so that only a small and few the strongest branches will remain. So all this is pretty easy when you know the tips, and you can do it by yourself. So are there any questions from you? No questions so far? Okay, so there is just the last point I wanted to speak about. And this is what is also extremely important for the roses. I've already shown you that the pruning is important to have some protection during the winter, so that your rose will not just freeze out. But for standard roses especially, there is one additional point that needs to be done. And this has something to do with the origin of the standard rose. Because, as I've said at the beginning, the standard rose is grafted on a wild rose. And sometimes the wild rose starts to produce side shoots. And if this happens, all the energy of the rose goes into into this side shoot, and your rose would just struggle. So every time you see it, and I can show you how it looks like, you immediately cut it away. So this would be just me cutting this side shoot, and you can see it on the picture pretty well here, that there were on the small standard rose, the little white pet, even two of the side shoots that came out. And when you cut it, you can cut it as deeply as you can, and then just it will help your rose. And just check on that every time you grow the rose, and just see that there are side shoots. Oh, we have a comment. Oh, so where I have it. Yeah. Still not there. Somehow it's. So, Minneapolis MN has a rose garden dictated to many varieties. What is MN? But someone from Minneapolis, it would be great. So, my best regards to you, and thank you for commenting. And they have so many wonderful rose gardens that I actually have seen. One of them is certainly near Steinfurt. the rose garden of it's Rosenparkträger. They have a huge amount of roses as well, and wonderful landscaping with the roses. So yeah, and there's so many gardens, and I know that in England, oh, they have such a wonderful rose gardens and all the old houses around the manors that they have. So maybe one day we will go there together, just have a look what kind of roses they have when it's just blooming. And there is also someone who, or a rose garden that inspired me a lot in the past. And it would be the rose garden in Albrighton, rose garden of David Austin. And when you have a look into the books that they've provided, it's just, or even the videos from other creators that take you with you to this garden. Wow, it looks so beautiful. And they have, I think it's the Lion Garden, or I may not be right, but they have many gardens in there, and one of them in special is very special, and they have also the standard roses in there. And there is also something that you can see pretty good with the rose grows, as I said at the beginning, so that when you buy a standard rose or have a standard rose, that the original rose grafted, how it grows, actually provide the right shape of the standard ones. Like the roses of David Austin are shrub roses, quite of a size. So I would not expect standard David Austin rose to be a small in the crown. They are big, and if you see the them at the breeder, they are wonderful. So not quite sure whether you have Ceylon tea. It's wonderful name of a channel. Whether you have also a rose in your garden, standard rose, or just are you someone who admires roses and would like to buy it for yourself and just plant it in your garden or in your area? So you have also any question? I would like to answer it if you have any. But very much, and thank you for your commenting. So any other questions, my dear friends? How is actually, how are you doing? Have you already just covered your roses? Just on my side, I have not done so yet. I've bought a lot of earth, rose earth that I actually use to cover my roses, but not yet. And the fleece I also bought already, but it's too early for Germany to put the fleece on the standard roses. This is maybe something that you should also consider. If you put the fleece too early on your rose, that it may be too warm for them. And they may start to actually grow again and get disturbed by the warmth that is below the hub. So don't do it too early. Otherwise, you can just only support the rose to grow. That would be then damaged by the frost on the one side, and on the other side, there are often a lot of old leaves in there, and these leaves can just take diseases with them. So you would actually overwinter also the disease with you, and it may be too early. So, anyone else? Any other question that you may have with regard to standard roses? I don't think so. I do not see any questions. So I think that this was it for today. Thank you very much also for the commenting, being with me today. And I hopefully see you next Sunday again. Let's make it regular and speak to each other about Rosie's old cars and all the dreams that we have and the beauty that we can create. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.